Vulnerability often gets misunderstood. In everyday language, being vulnerable can sound like being exposed, fragile, or too emotional. It can sound like something you should avoid, manage, or hide. And in many social environments, vulnerability is treated almost like a weakness, something that makes you less competent, less stable, less respectable. But if you look closely, vulnerability is not the same as collapsing. Vulnerability is not the same as losing control. It's not the same as helplessness. Vulnerability is simply the state of being open to experience, open to uncertainty, open to feelings, open to the possibility of disappointment or rejection. It is the willingness to remain emotionally present when it would be easier to armor up, shut down, or pretend that nothing affects you. That's why the metaphor of the candle in the wind is so quietly powerful. Imagine a candle burning on a table. The flame is small. It is warm and steady, but it is also delicate. A simple movement of air can make it flicker. A gust of wind can make it bow, shake, and almost disappear. Attachment loosens gradually, often unevenly, and usually without dramatic insight. It softens through repeated awareness, not force. Many people try to let go by pushing themselves. I should be more detached. I shouldn't care so much. I need to stop being attached. But this kind of effort often creates more tension, because underneath it is still the same mechanism: control. A gentler approach begins with observation, not asking, how do I stop attaching? But how does attachment show up in me right now? You might notice it as a tightening in the chest, a sense of urgency, repetitive thinking, fear of a specific outcome, difficulty resting. Simply noticing these signals already changes the relationship. Awareness doesn't eliminate attachment immediately, but it loosens the grip enough for breathing room to appear. Impermanence is easy to accept intellectually. Emotionally, it is much harder. Change doesn't just alter circumstances, it threatens the structures we rely on to feel stable. Non-attachment does not mean liking impermanence. It means learning to tolerate it without collapsing or compensating immediately. Many of us respond to change by rushing to replace what is lost, filling silence with noise, filling uncertainty with certainty, filling emptiness with productivity, filling grief with explanation. These reactions are understandable. They are attempts to regulate discomfort, but they also prevent integration. Letting go involves allowing certain experiences to remain unresolved for a while, allowing not knowing, allowing incompleteness. This does not mean passivity. It means trusting that clarity often emerges after we stop forcing it. Psychologically, this is a form of emotional maturity. The ability to stay present with uncertainty without immediately trying to escape it. One of the deepest fears around non-attachment is relational. People worry, if I don't attach, will I still love? If I let go, will I become distant? If I don't hold on, will everything fall apart? But attachment and love are not the same thing. Attachment seeks guarantees. Love meets what is present. Attachment says, stay so I can feel safe. Non-attachment says, I'm here even though I know nothing is guaranteed. Paradoxically, this often deepens relationships because presence becomes voluntary, not demanded. Care becomes an expression, not a defense. You listen more openly, you control less. You allow others to change without experiencing it as betrayal. This does not remove grief when relationships end or shift. But grief becomes something that hurts, not something that destroys identity. Non-attachment is often misunderstood as a lack of ambition. In reality, it changes how goals are held, not whether they exist. When goals are fused with identity, they become dangerous. Success inflates the self. Failure threatens it. Effort becomes self-protection. Attachment turns goals into verdicts. Non-attachment allows goals to be expressions of direction rather than definitions of worth. You can still work hard, you can still care about outcomes, but your sense of self no longer rises and falls with results. This creates a different quality of effort, more sustainable, less frantic, less self-punishing. Failure becomes feedback. Success becomes information, not proof of value. This shift alone often reduces burnout dramatically. A helpful metaphor for non-attachment is the open hand. An open hand can hold things, but it doesn't imprison them. You still engage with life. You still receive experiences. You still participate fully, but you no longer demand that anything stay. Life moves. People change. Circumstances shift. And instead of tightening against this movement, you learn to move with it. This doesn't make life painless, but it makes pain less rigid, less identity defining, less consuming. Over time, something subtle emerges, a sense of inner stability that's no longer dependent on external permanence, not because nothing matters, but because you are no longer asking reality to guarantee your safety. Not becoming attached to things does not mean becoming distant from life. It means no longer organizing your inner world around fear of loss. It means allowing care without possession, effort without self-negation, and connection without constant vigilance. You don't have to let go perfectly. You don't have to eliminate attachment. You only have to notice where holding on is costing you peace and where softening your grip might create space. Sometimes, the deepest freedom is quiet. It comes not from having more, but from needing less in order to be okay. Are there specific topics you're interested in or a particular question you'd like answered in your life? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe now and join me on your journey toward more clarity and inner strength.